My name is Galit Friedman, and I will be talking to you today about Coagulo Medical Technologies, the world's first multiplex point-of-care testing system for the precision management of coagulation. In the US alone, there are over 140 million emergency room visits. Now, these can be for a variety of reasons, for heart attacks, strokes, or traumatic injuries like car accidents. Now, when you go to the emergency room, there's a panel of blood tests that are usually ordered by doctors, and one of the most important ones that are ordered are coagulation tests. One of the reasons coagulation tests are done is not only for doctors to be able to safely take you through surgeries and their interventions, but also to potentially screen you for drugs such as blood thinners or anticoagulants that could be in your system. So many of you may be familiar with Coumadin, warfarin, or heparin. Well, over the last 10 years, there's a new blockbuster class of anticoagulants that have entered the market. Now, these are surpassing prescription rates in terms of compared to warfarin and heparin, and are over 50% of the market, but they pose the same risks, especially in the emergency and critical care setting when a doctor wants to do surgery or an intervention. Now, one of the problems with these new drugs is that conventional coagulation tests do not work with the DOACs, or the direct oral anticoagulants. That means when you go into the emergency room, up to 50% of patients on these drugs, the tests don't work and they're not sensitive to it. Now, doctors in cardiology, trauma surgery, and neurosurgery and critical care are begging for a test to be able to help them make safer decisions for you in terms of guiding reversal therapy or even potentially delaying or changing your treatment. So in Coagulo, we've developed a point-of-care diagnostic platform that can detect, identify, and measure all currently prescribed anticoagulants. It can also be expanded in the future to include anticoagulants that are currently in development by pharmaceutical industry. So we're meeting a huge unmet clinical need that we'll go into more. We've developed a solution, and we are well positioned for growth. So the way we've decided this test is to be in a handheld reader, which can be used easily point of care or bedside. We'll have single-use diagnostic cartridges that take less than 20 microliters of patient blood. It's about the equivalent of a blood drop. Automated sample processing, and the results will be generated in less than 10 minutes. Now, the result readout will tell you what class of anticoagulant the patient has in their system if they have one, and can also give you a quantitative readout in terms of how much functional concentration of that inhibitor is in your patient sample. So is it low enough that it's safe to go into surgery, or is it too high that you need to do something else, another intervention? Now, in terms of the US market alone, there will be an estimated 80 million individuals over the age of 65 by 2020. And now, looking at 65 and over in the Medicare market, up to 20% of Medicare patients have been on a blood thinner within the past 30 days. In the emergency room, you have over 9 million visits for heart disease to the ER a year, 6.5 million for unintentional injury, and 1 million for stroke. Just looking at the emergency and critical care market, we're estimating about a $500 million market for our test. Now, if we take the functional concentrations and move forward with personalized medicine, tailored dosing, and even cloud-based medicine, we're looking at over a $1 billion market. So our vision for this is to have an automated reader that's purchased or leased by the hospital or the doctor, and then you take the sample, you have a single-use disposable cartridge, put it in the automated reader, and you get the readout where the clinician can make their diagnosis and treatment. We're currently building an experienced team of medical advisors, technical advisors, and have individuals that have successfully taken things from the bench side all the way through the FDA market into successful exits and IPOs. Now, this is our current path. We've spent the past 2 years developing and optimizing the assay. And at the end of 2017, we finished a 100-patient clinical trial in the MGHER department, where we were able to successfully detect and identify the type of blood thinner that was in the patient sample. And this was irregardless of their traditional coagulation results, meaning whether your PT, INR, PTT, or other coagulation tests were normal or abnormal, we could identify the patients that were on these drugs. So where we are today is we're trying to successfully translate our product and take it from the bench to the bedside, and part of that is making an automated point-of-care reader. So while we're working on developing a portable prototype today to be able to get this into doctors' hands to use, Our primary goal for the next year is to continue to build our team, to do fundraising, and really focus on building our alpha and beta prototype to be able to start our FDA clinical trials. So I'd be happy to take any questions if anyone would like to contact us and speak further. Thank you.